Hey everyone, welcome back to SwitchTop. Today we're counting down the top 20 fighting games on Nintendo Switch. Whether you're a button masher or a combo expert, the Switch has some awesome fighting games worth checking out. Let's jump right in and see which games made the cut. Blade Strangers brings together characters from different indie games like Cave Story, The Binding of Isaac, and Shovel Knight in one fighter that's super easy to pick up. Instead of complicated button combos, you just press one button multiple times, or combine it with a direction to pull off cool moves. The story has all these characters pulled from their worlds into a computer system to fight and determine who will be the Blade Stranger who can save the multiverse from corruption. The chibi-style 3D models turned into 2D sprites look really colorful on the Switch screen, and you can play it anywhere with a friend using just one Joy-Con each. If you've been scared of fighting games before, this is a perfect place to start since you can do amazing looking moves right away without memorizing anything complicated. Them's Fightin herds might look cute with its colorful animal fighters, but don't let that fool you. It's got deep fighting mechanics that even pros can appreciate. The game stars 6 female hoofed animals, no humans or predators, fighting to find a champion who can bring back magical protection to their world against predator invasions. What makes this game cool is how different each character feels. Velvet the reindeer uses ice magic at a distance, while Arizona the cow uses a lasso to pull opponents close. The game has this awesome dynamic music system where the tunes change depending on who's winning, and the pixel art style looks super clean on the Switch. It also has a story mode that plays like an RPG where you explore the world, solve puzzles, and fight enemies. The developers kept updating it with new characters and features, making it way bigger than you'd expect from its modest beginnings. Garou, Mark of the Wolves is an old-school fighting game from 1999 that still holds up amazingly well today on Switch. Taking place 10 years after the Fatal Fury series, it follows Rock Howard, the adopted son of Geese Howard, and a new cast of fighters in the city of Second Southtown as they compete in the King of Fighters Maximum Mayhem tournament. The game introduced the TOP system, where you choose a section of your health bar that gives you special advantages when your health reaches that point, like dealing more damage or slowly recovering health. The pixel art looks gorgeous even today, with super smooth animations that pop on the Switch screen. The game feels perfectly balanced with tight controls that never drop inputs, making it a favorite among fighting game purists. The Switch version added online play so you can battle people around the world, plus a training mode to practice your combos. Dragon Ball FighterZ brings the anime to life with some of the most amazing looking fights you'll ever see in a video game. The story has Android 21, a new character made for the game, creating clones of all the fighters while a mysterious wave weakens the real heroes, requiring you to link with their bodies to help them fight back. The gameplay is 3-on-3 tag team battles where you pick 3 fighters from Dragon Ball's huge character roster and swap between them during matches. What makes it fun is how easy it is to do awesome stuff. You can throw Kamehameha waves and teleport behind opponents with simple button presses, but there's still plenty of depth for serious players. The art style looks exactly like the anime, but in 3D with explosive effects and dramatic camera angles when you pull off super moves. Even if you button mash, you'll feel like you're creating your own amazing Dragon Ball fight scenes that look just like the show. Persona 4 Arena. Ultimax continues the story of the Persona 4 gang after the main game, bringing both the P4 and P3 cast together in a fighting game that's packed with content. The story happens one day after the P4 Arena tournament when a red fog covers Inaba, and the Midnight Channel starts broadcasting a new fighting tournament with everyone's lives at stake. The gameplay mixes typical fighting game moves with Persona summons. Each character fights alongside their Persona, creating unique tag team style combat where you control one character but can call in your Persona for special attacks. What makes it special is how each character plays completely differently. Some are simple and straightforward, while others have complex mechanics like Naoto's gun loading system or Elizabeth's ever-changing card effects. The Switch version includes all the DLC characters and the full story mode from both P4 Arena and Ultimax, giving you tons of single-player content even if you never play against others online. The King of Fighters 98 is often called the best KOF game ever made, now available on Switch in its Ultimate Match Final Edition form. There's not much story here since it's a dream match that brings together fighters from the series regardless of the official timeline, including characters who would be dead in the main story. The gameplay uses the 3-on-3 team battle system KOF is famous for, where you pick 3 fighters and battle until one team runs out of characters. You can choose between 2 fighting styles for each character. Advanced mode lets you build up super meters and run, while extra mode gives you stronger attacks when your health is low. With 64 characters, this is one of the biggest 2D fighting game rosters ever, giving you endless team combinations to try. The pixel art has aged beautifully, and the Switch version runs perfectly whether docked or handheld. This is pure fighting game excellence that focuses entirely on balanced, fun gameplay without any gimmicks. Guilty Gear 20th Anniversary brings the wild, heavy metal inspired fighting series to Switch with both Guilty Gear 20th Accent Core Plus R and the original Guilty Gear. The story is set in a crazy sci-fi world where magic and technology blend together, with most characters hunting bounties on dangerous bioweapons called gears. What makes Guilty Gear stand out is how different every character feels. From the chain-wielding Bridget to the giant coffin-carrying Testament, everyone has completely unique mechanics. The gameplay is super fast with air dashing, instant kills, and crazy combos, but the Switch version includes helpful tutorials to get you started. The heavy metal soundtrack absolutely rocks, perfectly matching the intense battles and over-the-top special moves that fill the screen with flashy effects. While it might seem intimidating at first, the game has a stylish mode that lets newer players pull off cool combos more easily while still leaving room to grow into the more technical systems. Streets of Rage 4 brings back the classic beat-em-up series with gorgeous hand-drawn art and modernized fighting mechanics. The story follows Axel, Blaze, and new characters fighting against the children of Mr. X, who are using mind control music to take over the city 10 years after the events of Streets of Rage 3. While it's technically a beat-em-up, it feels like a fighting game with its combo system, juggles, and special moves. You can play through the whole game alone or team up with up to 4 players locally to punch, kick, and throw your way through beautiful levels filled with enemies. The game does an amazing job balancing risk and reward. Special moves deal big damage but cost health, which you can earn back by following up with normal attacks. With 17 playable characters, including unlockable pixel art versions from the original games, tons of modes including survival challenges, and a banging soundtrack, there's a ton of content to enjoy. The Switch version plays perfectly in handheld mode too, making it great for quick fighting sessions on the go. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Shredder's Revenge is a love letter to both the classic TMNT arcade games and the 1987 cartoon. The story has the Turtles battling familiar foes when Bebop and Rocksteady raid the Channel 6 news station to steal Super Science devices for Krang and Shredder's latest evil plan. Like Streets of Rage 4, this beat-em-up plays a lot like a fighting game, with each of the 7 playable characters having different stats and unique moves. Leonardo is balanced, Raphael hits hard but is slower, Michelangelo is fast with shorter range, and Donatello has the longest reach. April, Splinter, and Casey Jones play completely differently too. The game lets 6 players join in at once, either locally or online, creating chaotic fun as you smash through Foot Clan soldiers. The pixel art looks incredible with super smooth animations, and the soundtrack features music from Mike Patton of Faith No More. The Switch version is perfect for impromptu multiplayer sessions since each player can use a single Joy-Con, making it easy to share the turtle power anywhere you go. Ultra Street Fighter II. The Final Challengers brings the most influential fighting game ever to the Switch with new features and characters. The bare-bones story is classic Street Fighter. Various martial artists enter a world tournament organized by Shadaloo boss M. Bison. The gameplay is the definitive version of Street Fighter II that started it all, with perfectly balanced fighting that's easy to learn but takes forever to master. You can choose between classic pixel graphics or updated HD art, and play with either old school or modern balanced gameplay. The Switch version adds Evil Ryu and Violent Ken as new characters, plus a first-person Way of the Hado mode where you use Joy-Con motion controls to throw fireballs and dragon punches. What I love most is how perfect Street Fighter feels on the Switch. You can play 2-player matches anywhere with the Joy-Cons, use the Pro Controller for serious matches at home, or even use the touchscreen for special moves. After all these years, pulling off Ryu's Hadouken or Guile's Flash Kick still feels amazing, proving why Street Fighter 2 remains the gold standard for fighting games.
Ryu, win.
Skullgirls' second Encore brings hand-drawn, 1940s-inspired cartoon fighting to the Switch with some of the smoothest animations you'll ever see. The story follows different characters trying to find the Skull Heart, a wish-granting artifact that turns women into the monstrous Skullgirl if their heart isn't pure. You can play with just one character or build a team of up to 3 fighters, adjusting their strength based on team size. Smaller teams hit harder but have fewer options. What's cool is how the game helps beginners with an amazing tutorial that actually teaches fighting game basics, like blocking, mix-ups, and combos better than any other game. Every character plays totally differently. Valentine throws medical supplies and uses surgical tools. Peacock shoots cartoon-style guns and drops anvils, while Big Band literally plays music attacks with different instruments. The game runs perfectly on Switch in both docked and handheld modes, with quick loading times that get you into matches fast. Samurai Shodown 2 is a classic weapon-based fighter from 1994 that still holds up amazingly well on Switch. The game is set in feudal Japan, with fighters from around the world gathering, each with their own reason to test their blade against others. Unlike most fighting games where you throw out tons of hits, Samurai Shodown is all about landing fewer, more powerful strikes. A single well-timed heavy slash can take away a quarter of your opponent's health. This gives matches an intense, strategic feel where every move matters. matters. The game has a rage meter that fills as you take damage, making your attack stronger when you're hurt, creating dramatic comeback opportunities. You can even clash weapons with your opponent and disarm them, forcing them to fight unarmed until they can retrieve their weapon. The pixel art looks gorgeous on the Switch screen, with detailed characters and beautiful Japanese-inspired backgrounds. The Switch version adds helpful features like rewind, save states, and online play that make this classic more accessible than ever. King of Fighters 13 brings SNK's 3-on-3 team fighting series to the Switch with gorgeous hand-drawn sprites and backgrounds that look like moving paintings. The story wraps up the Tales of Ash saga with different teams competing in the King of Fighters tournament while a dark conspiracy unfolds. You pick 3 fighters from over 30 characters and battle until one team is completely defeated. The game uses 4 buttons, light and heavy punches and kicks, along with special moves done through quarter circle and dragon punch motions. What makes KOF 3 different is its drive gauge that lets you cancel moves into each other for custom combos or enter hyperdrive mode for a limited time, where you can chain moves together freely. There's also the Enio Max super move, the ultimate attack that deals massive damage with incredible animations. The game rewards smart defense with the guard cancel system, letting you push opponents away when they're pressuring you too hard. On Switch, it runs at a perfect 60 frames per second with crisp visuals in both handheld and docked modes. Under Night and Birth 2 Sis brings fast-paced anime fighting action to the Switch with a unique combat system focused on controlling space. The story is about the Hollow Knight, a mysterious phenomenon where shadow creatures called voids appear, and people with special powers called in-births fight to control the power of the EXS. The game's special mechanic is the GRD grid system, a tug-of-war bar at the bottom of the screen that rewards aggressive play and good defense. Gain enough GRD and you'll enter Vorpal State, powering up your attacks and giving access to Chain Shift, which freezes time briefly to extend combos. Each of the 24 characters plays completely differently. Linne uses lightning-fast daggers, Waldstein has enormous arms for grappling, and Batista fires lasers from a distance. The game has an incredible tutorial system that teaches you everything from basic movement to advanced fighting game concepts. The Switch version includes all the characters, color options, and a gallery mode with tons of artwork, plus it runs super smoothly whether you're playing on your TV or in handheld mode. BlazBlue CentralFiction wraps up the main BlazBlue story with the largest roster in the series and some of the flashiest fighting game action on Switch. The story follows Ragna the Blood Edge in a complex tale about artificial worlds, time loops, and godlike beings. But you can ignore all that and just enjoy the fighting. Each character has a drive button that activates their unique mechanic. Rachel controls wind, Carl commands a puppet, and Arakun summons insects that swarm the opponent. The game uses a 4-button system with light, medium, and heavy attacks, plus that character-specific drive button. There's also the overdrive system that powers up your character's special abilities for a limited time when activated, plus distortion drives and astral heats for super flashy finishing moves. With 36 characters, there's a fighting style for everyone, from simple sword fighters to complex trap setters and everything in between. The Switch version includes all DLC characters, a robust story mode with hours of visual novel-style storytelling, plus challenge modes, survival, and online play that all run perfectly on Nintendo's console. Guilty Gear Strive brings Arc System Works' heavy metal fighting series to Switch with stunning anime-style 3D graphics that look like hand-drawn 2D. The story continues the saga of Saul Bad Guy and his allies in a world where magic and technology combine, focusing on the final confrontation with series villain Asuka That Man. The gameplay is slightly simplified from previous Guilty Gear games, but still has amazing depth, using a 4-button layout with punch, kick, slash, and heavy slash, plus a 5th button for special dust attacks that launch opponents. The Roman cancel system lets you cancel almost any move by spending meter, creating endless combo and mix-up possibilities. Wall breaks are new to Strive. Hit your opponent into the edge of the stage enough and they'll crash through, dealing extra damage and resetting to the middle of the stage. Every character feels wildly different. Faust throws random items and teleports. Nagoriyuki transforms into a more powerful form but risks blood loss, and Happy Chaos literally uses a gun with limited ammo. The Switch version runs surprisingly well with some graphical downgrades, but maintains the smooth gameplay that's crucial for fighters. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection brings together 5 classic crossover fighters that define the VS series: X-Men, Children of the Atom, Marvel Superheroes, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and Marvel vs. Capcom Clash of Superheroes. Each game lets you control famous Marvel heroes and villains alongside Capcom characters in fast-paced battles filled with super jumps, air combos, and screen-filling super moves. The stories are basic. Usually some villain like Apocalypse or Onslaught threatens both worlds, but the real fun is in the chaotic tag team gameplay. These games introduced mechanics that changed fighting games forever, like calling in assists from your partner character and the Wild Team super combos where both characters unleash their supers simultaneously. The collection adds modern features like online play, training mode, and different display options while preserving the original arcade experience. On Switch, you can play these games anywhere, making it perfect for quick matches during commutes or lunch breaks. The ability to save states also lets you practice those tricky infinite combos until you master them. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection is a fighting game history lesson with 12 classic titles from the series that started it all. It includes the original Street Fighter, 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, 3 alpha games, and 3 Street Fighter 3 games, showing how the series evolved over time. The stories are simple. World Warriors enter tournaments to test their skills and defeat the evil M. Bison, but the gameplay revolutionized the genre. You can see how the series progressed from the 6-button layout and special move inputs of Street Fighter 2 to the custom combos of Alpha and the parry system of Street Fighter 3 that demanded split-second timing. 4 of the games have online play: Turbo Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Alpha 3, and Third Strike, letting you test your skills against players worldwide. The collection also includes a museum mode with character bios, relationship charts, concept art, and a music player with hundreds of tracks. On Switch, you can play 2-player matches anywhere using the Joy-Cons, making it perfect for settling scores with friends during lunch breaks or at parties. Capcom Fighting Collection brings together 10 classic arcade fighters, including the complete Darkstalkers series available officially outside Japan for the first time. Beyond the horror-themed Darkstalkers games, you get Cyberbots, a mech fighter, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, a competitive puzzle game with fighting characters, Super Gem Fighter Mini Mix, a cute chibi fighter, and Hyper Street Fighter 2. Each game has its own unique mechanics. Darkstalkers introduced air blocking and chain combos. Cyberbots lets you customize your mech with different parts, and Red Earth features RPG elements where your character levels up between matches. All 10 games include online play with rollback netcode for smooth matches, plus training modes to practice your combos. There's also a museum with over 500 pieces of artwork and more than 400 music tracks from across all games. The Switch version runs perfectly with quick loading times and the option to play vertically in TATE mode for games originally displayed on vertical arcade monitors. Whether you're a fighting game historian or just looking to try classics you missed, this collection gives you 10 distinct fighting experiences in one package. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate lives up to its name by bringing together every character who's ever appeared in the series, plus tons of newcomers, 89 fighters in total including DLC. Instead of traditional health bars, you deal damage to increase your opponent's percentage, making them fly farther when hit, with the goal of knocking them off the stage. The controls are simpler than most fighting games, one button for normal attacks and one for special moves, with different moves coming out based on which direction you press. There are more than 100 stages from across gaming history, each with hazards and platforms that change up how you fight. You can play with up to 8 players at once locally, creating absolute chaos with items like Pokeballs, assist trophies, and the stage clearing final smash attacks. The single player World of Light mode is basically a huge RPG where you rescue fighters and collect spirits that boost your stats and abilities. The game runs at a solid 60 frames per second even with 4 players on screen, and you can play it anywhere. Bust out the Switch at a party and watch how quickly everyone gravitates toward a quick smash session. With constant updates and balance patches over its lifetime, it's the most refined Smash experience ever. And there you have it, the top 20 fighting games on Nintendo Switch. From classic arcade fighters to modern marvels, the Switch has become an amazing platform for fighting game fans. Which of these games are you going to try first? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if I missed your favorite fighting game, tell me what makes it so awesome. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to SwitchTop for more Nintendo Switch content every week. Until next time.